if you guys don't remember, or maybe you weren't in the office hours session, we actually did have an office hours session where we reviewed all of these. So let me just actually leave this screen for a second, and I'll pull up our YouTube because we've actually had kind of this session already where we basically laid out for you guys our 2023 roadmap. And this was earlier in the year, and we were pretty excited about it at the time, especially. So let me pull this up over here. So this is our YouTube page. And one of the videos that we had gone through was a new add-ons coming soon video here. So you can actually see here, we did go through and we had this roadmap already laid out for everything we wanted to accomplish going into 2023. And I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone here and the whole team. We did really work very hard this year to deliver on these promises. So everything here besides credit card processing has been implemented, released, and is published. As for credit card processing, that's something that I believe we're going to talk about in our 2024 roadmap and how that's going to correlate with JuicedSign. But we'll get into that more in January. So just put it on your calendars. I think middle of January, we will have a 2024 roadmap video, but we just wanted to sum this up as said. So if I go back now and pull up our current presentation, we're looking at all the add-ons that we helped create and all the configurators we helped create, which are now available to you. So I'm just going to first touch on all of them, and then we'll go through and do a quick demonstration of all these again. And then again, if there's any questions, we'll answer those. But I'm just going to start off with JuicedSign. So as I'm sure you guys all got plenty of emails about, JuicedSign is the one and only e-signature solution designed specifically for Quickbase. This tool had all of the features and functionalities that we felt were important in our version 1. And then, of course, as you guys can imagine, the feedback started rolling in. So we actually ended up releasing a version 2 and even a version 3 already. And that was all driven based off of customer feedback like yourselves, especially if you're watching this in the future. If you use JuicedSign and you think that there's something that you guys want to be able to utilize that may be working in one of your other e-signature providers, whether it's DocuSign, PandaDocs, RightSign, whatever it might be. If there's features and functionality you guys are looking for, please do not hesitate to reach out. We thrive off of feedback. So as said, JuicedSign V3 is out, and there's a lot of cool things that I could show you guys about that. So I'm going to come back to that and start with that demo, but I'm just going to go down the line. And we also have the Excel Docs Configurator. Now, the Excel Docs Configurator, kudos to one of our developers, Dylan. That is a godsend. Oh my God, that makes my life so much easier. Every client that's used it has been really thrilled with it. So if you haven't used Excel Docs in the past, or maybe you tried it in the past and you found it difficult and you couldn't necessarily get success with it, I really recommend revisiting it. This configurator changes the game, changes Excel Docs, and it's really comparable to Exact Forms Plus now in terms of functionality and ease of use, really. And I think that's really important to understand. So I'm going to be showing that demo as well, just kind of a one-on-one of the Excel Docs Configurator. Then we have Exact Forms Plus updates. So we have new summary reports, which is a huge win. People have been asking for summary reports for well over 3 years since I've been here. And then we also have an update to dates, specifically international dates. So when it's not month, day, year, we always had formatting for that, but now it's increased and across the board. So I know a bunch of our international friends have been asking for that for a while. That is now available for you and will be based off of your Quickbase apps time zone, I believe. And then we also, I don't have it written here, but we also included pre-files. So for anyone who's used add files in the past, we had a few folks that were asking for the ability to put that in before their Exact Forms Plus was generated. So maybe a cover page of some sort. So now that's available, and that's another parameter. So I will show you guys those features as well. And the Exact Forms Plus version 11.5.10, that video is actually released most recently on our website on YouTube. So Justin will throw that in there if you guys are interested in specifically learning the details of how to utilize that in the future. And then, of course, another shout out to Dylan. We have Query Builder. Query Builder is something, it's a utility that we haven't quite rolled out as much as we've wanted to so far. We've allowed clients to use it in specific use cases, This is going to allow you to make Quickbase queries with ease. You're going to build it out very, very similar to how you build out a report in Quickbase. So if you're used to filtering a report in Quickbase, you'll have no issue using this. And we're also incorporating this in the Excel Docs Configurator, soon to be the Exact Forms Plus subtable configurator, as well as a few of our other add-ons like QB Maps. So that's going to be a great tool, great, useful trick for anyone, whether you guys are building pipelines or using our tools. You guys are going to want to take a look at that. And I'm excited to kind of have that more out in the wild. And then two other things I want to note. We've recently released a new look to the Juice Cloud and a new look to the JuicedTech.com. So I'm going to let Justin touch on that towards the end of the meeting. But that's really an awesome improvement to our websites. And we just want you guys to be able to kind of take a peek into there, maybe take a look at the different explanations, features, and functionality that we have posted on those sites. You may find that there's something you did not know about, or learn something new, which we're always hoping to help you guys with. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and move on to JuicedSign, which I believe is going to be the best way to go about doing this. So I have pulled up here our master demo. And I kind of want Justin also, I can send this in, or Justin can send this in. The master demo is a great place maybe to have flagged or pinned on your browser. If you guys are ever kind of looking for tips and tricks, this demo will really shoot you around all of our add-ons. So it's super easy to kind of keep things handy, and you never know what tools you might want to use. So I'm just going to navigate to the JuicedSign demo from there. And you can see that I have a lot of different tables that you guys probably can't see. If I put this in, test mode, if I roll, demo roll, this is more like what you guys are going to see. But I'm going to end this, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to make a new quote. And this is, very similar demo I would do for anyone who is going to be, working with us. And if there's someone who wants to know more about, JuicedSign, this is exactly what I would be showing them. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly enter my information. Of course, if JuicedSign was already installed on your end, it would already be in your application. And that's important to remember. This is all embedded in your workflows, not ours. So I'm just putting in some information here. I'm going to make a really simple sample quote. We do have a couple other options here for you guys. Tidbit to my clients, if you ever look and you see a template to use field, that looks familiar. That's very similar to how we change the TP-ID for Exact Forms Plus in Excel Docs. Keep that in mind. That's something I've done for a lot of you guys, but we're using that here. If I were to change to another one, you can see that that quickly changes as well. But we can go into that at another office hours. And I'm going to choose to auto create this. We're going to use Exact Forms Plus batch single document generation in this example. There's also the manual create button, but we don't need that here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And in just a few moments, you're going to see Exact Forms Plus get created there. Now, when I refresh, in about a moment or two, when Exact Forms Plus comes up, I'm then going to be able to quickly go ahead and open up a JuicedSign document here. And you can see we have this red lettering. PDF has not been created yet. We included that in the button, so there's no confusion where people may click the button prior to the actual document being created. So I'm going to refresh again. It seems like it may take a second right now. But once that document's ready to go, we're going to then be able to kick off JuicedSign to be sent out for signature. Now, one thing also to point out too is I'm wearing my JuicedSign shirt. So for any of you guys who may or may not have gotten a JuicedSign shirt, you can see it's behind Keith's banner as well. If you guys are interested in these JuicedSign shirts and you don't already have one, because there's some people in here that do, please feel free to drop your address in the chat, and we can get you guys a JuicedSign shirt. And hey, if you guys are watching this in the future and you really want one, email support@JuicedTech saying shirt, and we'll get that to you. But I'm gonna go ahead and hit refresh one more time, and it's there. So now we have our quote, and I'm gonna go over to JuicedSign, and you can see now we can preview the agreement or send a JuicedSign. For those of you who may have used DocuSign in the past with us, this preview agreement was never there. We never had a way to preview what you're going to send. Super helpful when you're making your configurations. So for those of you who like to tinker with things and get it done by hand, this will save you a lot of time and effort. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and hit send to JuicedSign. And we're going to do one captive signature and then one signature that's going to be done via email. So I'm just going to quickly hit send to JuicedSign here. You'll see a sample quote. It's going to have a watermark across it. And, this was all generated with Exact Forms Plus, as you know. So I can scroll down and see my quote, see what's going on here. And then if I hit start, it'll take me right down to the click to sign. Again, I will quickly click to sign, save, and finish. Now, what's going to happen here is it's going to send me an email to sign off on the other document, which I will do briefly. And then we will jump on over to the Excel Docs portion of this. One thing I want to point out, as with our DocuSign add-on, as well as JuicedSign, you can see we have our JuicedSign agreement from the management table. So you can see the metadata behind this. So you can see when it was delivered, what the agreement ID was, who it was delivered to from the JuicedSign recipients table, when they opened it, when they signed it. And again, now you can see that there's me as a signer too. So I'm going to pull up on the other window that I have here, and I'm going to click based off of this email here. So I'm just going to show you guys quickly. I can show blocked content where you can see we have our logos and a little bit of a message here. All that's customizable to your guys' needs. So we can put your logo in, your guys' message, your guys' subject line. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy this link address, and I'm going to actually put this in a quick incognito window for demo purposes. And here's my JuicedSign document.
You could have just right-clicked and opened in incognito, so it's a quick way to do it.
Yep. Quick and easy way to do that. That's only if you're using the same tab, everyone. Don't need to do that always. You can see now I'm going to sign the document. Now this is the client's perspective. When you're in the client's perspective, you actually have the initial feature here. So this was something that was not in version 1.0. Now in version 3.0, we absolutely have that there. So you have your initial and then the easy sign there. So we also have signature editable, initial editable, different names, dates, of course, different text fields, the ability to update Quickbase. This screen you're seeing here, you're able to customize this to be your own landing page. So you can really get pretty granular and customize this a lot. I'm going to hit refresh here. You're going to see the open date and the sign date are going to be updated already. So we have our open date and our sign date completed. You can see that the status has been set to complete. And again, in just a few moments, you'll get these signed documents here. So that's JuicedSign for you in the quickest, simplest demo that we have. If you're interested in that, whether now or in the future, please feel free to let us know. This tool is only going to get continuing enhancements. I believe we have a version 4.0 scheduled for sometime in January or February, where we'll have additional features coming out. That will be part of roadmap of 2024. We're really excited for that. A lot of new things going on, so please keep watch for that.
Hey Matt, can I share my screen quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just want to show some stats I thought were pretty cool to show.
Mm-hmm.
You can see this, right?
Yep.
So this is actually our control application. So JuicedSign, we went live in May, but we probably really started to get customers interacting with and using JuicedSign more, let's say, in the July timeframe. That's when we really started to hit the ground running with it. So just to give you an idea, here's some of the stats that we have. We've completed over 816 agreements. So one of the really cool things I like to show is this little report here is, look at how quickly these agreements come to completion. 322 of them were fully completed in less than an hour. So think about getting your agreements and your contracts and your proposals and work orders signed off in a efficient, quick manner. That's the most agreements that we have done are under an hour. And then you got under 24 hours, is our next band. So everything really, what we're trying to point out is how quickly JuicedSign helps you get to an agreement, to get to contract so that you can move on and work within your business instead of worried about shuffling paper and trying to get something signed. And you can see we track all different statuses, obviously, so we know how many get voided or if they expire, because they could be good for 30 days, 60 days, and then they'll expire. And we know these are all in process. So they're out for signature right now. And you can fully track this. So you can obviously click on these and it'll take you to those agreements. You can create these same reports in your own application. This is just our main master application so that we have a feel for everything that's going on, but we can recreate these in your individual application, and so you can review these stats on your own. I just thought it would be cool to give you a little bit of a review from, this is like more of a 6-month review of what we've been doing with JuicedSign.
Right. And just so you guys know, reports like that, we can assist you with making those for some of your dashboards. And I think that's important to point out. If you guys need assistance with things like that, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We're always happy to help.
Hey, man, I'll throw it back to you.
Yep. I will steal a share back in a moment. All right. Let me just get back to where I was. All right. So just to kind of get back to finishing off, I think I'm showing the right screen. Just back to where we were, just to kind of close the loop on JuicedSign. That did come in. I got my completed document here. So you can see I have my signed document and my agreement certificate after everything was complete, right back to that same record. So you'll get kind of full transparency to what happened. And again, you can see my initial here, and at the bottom are signatures. So all right back into the app. Same thing with the agreement certificate, which we believe is really cool and important as part of the legally binding signature process that you see here. So, we're really, really excited about this. It's only going to get bigger and better, as Keith said. If there's anyone who needs assistance, questions, comments, concerns about that, please let us know and we'll be happy to help. But to kind of point back to where we were, that's JuicedSign 3.0. And we're going to now move on to Excel Docs Configurator. And I'm going to minimize my screen and I'm going to close out JuicedSign. And we'll go back from the top with the Excel Docs Configurator. Let's see. Internal authorization failed. I saw that coming. So if Dylan's on the call, take a look at that. If not, as what it is. But if you want to get to Excel Docs, best way to do it, again, you go to your master demo. And when you go to your master demo, you go right into Excel Docs. Now, kudos to Todd. Todd recently made some changes to the demo. So if you guys have ever gone to the demo and found it to be a little bit confusing or overwhelming, it should not anymore. So thank you, Todd, for that. If you wanted to view the template that you're going to be using, you can click right here. That's going to be just an Excel document. And that Excel document is essentially going to be looking at this data table here, this data grid. So from this data grid, you're going to essentially post that right onto an Excel sheet. So I can hit generate right now, and this is going to generate it as an Excel document. So for those of you who don't know, this is what Excel Docs is doing. This is a very basic example of it. And then essentially what I'm going to show you from the configurator is how to set something like this up. And I think it's pretty important to understand that this is fairly easy to do. So you can see we have an expense statement with all the employees' expenses. You can see that these formulas did run still. So you're able to get all the different formulas based off of what you have in Excel to still run. So you're basically feeding in the information to your Excel sheet. And that's where it really gets powerful, because Excel can do a lot of the legwork for you. Pivot tables, graphs, charts, like I said, formulas all still work once you're feeding in that data. So you can see we broke it across 2 separate pages here, 2 separate sheets. And we also included a nice QR code from the Maple Leafs for you hockey fans out there. So that's a sample of the Excel demo. Now, of course, there is more to it. You can see we updated the date, time, and this most latest file. But there's also a lot of advanced functionality that you can kind of check out here. So we have having all the projects onto one expense sheet. We have, creating this all into one PDF, and then also having each record as a separate sheet. So those are kind of 3 different functionality ways you can use Excel Docs. All 3 of these buttons give you a little bit of a different flavor for each one. So worth checking out. And of course, under even more examples, this will take you back to more of our original Excel Docs demo, where we have stuff like repository tables, skipping rows, generating from multiple records, summary with a pivot table. A lot of that stuff, though, I want to point out, you're feeding the data grid into Excel, and then Excel is taking that and using pivot tables there. So you still need to have that all configured within your actual physical Excel sheet itself. So keep that in mind. But now, if you wanted to make one of these sheets yourself, so let's say, you're ready to go, now you want to get into it, you're going to want to go ahead and go to your document templates. So for anyone who's used Exact Forms Plus in the past, you know that the document templates table is your kind of like your add-on homepage. That's where you're going to hold all of your Word document templates, and it's going to be used for the exact same thing with the Excel document templates. So you'll see here, we actually have the XLSX as the file extension and a very, very similar feel to the document templates table. Now, we would just reutilize the exact same table if you guys already have Exact Forms Plus, so keep that in mind. But you can see we have this C list, which looks a little bit different. And then you have this subtable, which has a lot going on here. And a lot of these fields you may or may not know how to use. So this is almost like your settings string from Exact Forms Plus, but broken out into many, many different sections. So we kind of broke out this settings string. Now, in the past, you used to have to know what each one of those things did and how to use them, where now you kind of have the Excel Docs Configurator, which gets installed automatically, where you can then do as a pop-up. Now, for those of you who don't have the Excel Docs Configurator, but you have Excel Docs and you want to use this, we've gone over this in the past, but you can quickly go to the Juice Cloud, and this is a little sneak preview to the Juice Cloud new look, and you can log in. Oh, let's try that again. Does anyone else delete their whole password when they get it wrong? Because I do. But when you go in, you can then go, and I'll just go to my test company quick. You can go into Excel Docs. And even if you have the app already authorized, you're going to want to hit Authorize New Application, pick your user token. I like this one. And then go pick the application. And the biggest, most important thing is don't hit Next. Hit Authorize Only, No Setup. And when you do that, Finish is going to show up. I may or may not have the Excel Docs Configurator insufficient permissions. That's fine. I just wanted to show that quickly. For any of you guys who have Excel Docs already, those are the steps you're going to want to go through to get the Excel Docs Configurator. You'll get a nice green message when that comes up. But if you go and you see the Excel Docs Configurator here, you can go ahead and click that, and hopefully it works this time, which it does, almost like magic. And you can see that we have the Excel Docs Configurator master table. So first thing I want to show you is you have all of the fields coming in from the projects table. That's your master table here. Then you have your name, which you just need for kind of naming the configuration. And you identify the Excel sheet you want it on. Be wary of hidden sheets. There are hidden sheets sometimes. And then you can sort and filter this as every way you want. So we have it filtered right there by columns we're using, which is really what you want. And over here on the right, you can see the different cell positions that we're plotting this into. So you can see we want field 276 in cell position A38. Then we want project name in B6, project number in B7. You could also change these types. If this HTML sample, you weren't sure what that was, maybe you want it to be text, you could change that here. Image, date, etc. It's pretty smart. It typically knows what it is, but if you thought it's wrong for some reason, you can go ahead and change that yourself. Images when included, you can put the images here, and you can also do the height and width. Now, be noted, Excel has more rigid cells, so height and width may push the size of your cells around. So if you know you're going to be putting an image into a cell, I really recommend merging cells around the size of the image you're hoping to include, and then use the height and width to better suit that. But if you just have a regular cell size, it's going to get jammed up. It's going to extend the size of the whole column and the whole row. So please keep that in mind with your formatting. And then, of course, we have the data tables. Now, the data tables are really the subtables, and this is pulling from different tables in Quickbase. And you can see a summary going across the top here of the different things we're doing, including the C list, the query, the data grid, max line items, skip rows, all of that I'm going to show you right here. So if I hit edit on the expense sheet, you're going to see that there's something similar about all of these. And that's that they're all on row 12. And that's because we're really making a table. And that's what a lot of people are going to do with Excel, because that's how you make your pivot tables, your graphs, your charts. You really need that all kind of across the line as like your headers. So we're essentially naming or identifying all the cell headers we want across that top on row 12. And we're saying these are the different fields we want to include. And again, if you saw before, we did have this sheet, and you can see it looks very, very similar. So we're going from row 12. We're basically just identifying all of these as the starting points. So that's your subtable, essentially. So anything that doesn't have a cell position identified is not going to be brought in. course, you can see we do have the table we're pulling from, the Excel sheet we're going on to, and the description. Again, I just wanted to point that out. If there was images, you'd be able to change images just like the other one. And then the data grid options. This is where it can get pretty important. We do want this as a data table, essentially. We do want to have max line items as 10 because we want to insert new rows after that point. And we also do want this to be the first subtable we're going to make modifications to. And I can go into tab sub report order in additional Excel docs configurator meetings. We did go over that in depth. And then again, query. This is query builder. This is built and kind of embedded right within the Excel docs configurator. So you should feel very comfortable with this. You can see when you hover over the individual filter lines, you can see the blue plus sign here to add additional filters in. So maybe you want, the account is not equal to blank, essentially, something along those lines. Whatever you guys want your query criteria to be, this will build it out for you very quickly and easily, rather than having to know Quickbase's query syntax, which sometimes can be a pain, depending on what you guys are looking to do. And maybe you don't know the field ID numbers. Maybe you don't know exactly what you want to have, but this will lay it out for you very easily. You also have the ability to sort. We have sorting by date here. Maybe you want to sort by name. Maybe you want to sort by rate, whatever it might be. These will be your fields, of course. And then lastly, we have the subtotal and grouping option. Excel can really do a lot of those options for you, but this will do it right within Excel docs, so you don't have to worry about using formulas in Excel for subtotaling, averaging, and then if you wanted to group the data by like values. So if you wanted to have things grouped by location or address or date or by individual employee name, you can do that all within here. And of course, you can colorize these options with a lot of nice colors here. That's the summary of the Excel docs subtable configurator. Justin, if you want, maybe throw a link in the chat to the video where we do a full in-depth breakdown of every single one of those fields. That was on office hours from earlier this year. This is a tool, again, that came out this year. Super exciting. If you don't use Excel docs, you should give it a look and give it at least a trial run, because you'll find that this tool is very easy. And everyone knows that Excel is kind of the base layer of almost all business. So, if you guys need to generate Excel docs from Quickbase, this is going to be the tool for you. So really excited about that one. Thank you, Dylan, for making it, because wow, you've made my life so much easier. Cannot thank you enough. So now we're going to kind of pivot back to Exact Forms Plus. I like to call them the brother and sister add-ons. So we have Exact Forms Plus, new summary reports and dates. And I also just want to show you guys from our help site where you can go to find any of our resources for Exact Forms Plus. So I pulled up the help site on the other page here. I don't want to give you guys too much of a sneak preview of the website. I want to let Justin get to that. But we have on this left side bar here, Exact Forms Plus, and then Exact Forms Plus formula URL parameters.
Hey, Matthew.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I want to interrupt you a second. My mic wasn't working. I want to throw in the chat just so so I just finished all the help for the configurator as well.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw that in the chat also. Sorry, I meant to interrupt you before.
Gosh, Todd.
I couldn't, and it wasn't working. So that's the link for all that you just went through, Excel Docs Configurator, in the help site. Okay.
Pull that up here, and since we're already in the help site, by the way, pre-files for Exact Forms Plus right here, very similar to add files. Let me pull this up. So yeah, so we have full breakdown of the Excel Docs configurator. So this is great. This is information that you guys are going to want to have. Here's that installation process I went through. Here's step-by-step installations, the user interface where we break down exactly what each thing is going on here. So Todd, great job on this, and thank you for pointing that out. Because anyone who may want to do this themselves, you're going to want to have these resources. So really, really like that we have this here. And you can see we have many steps on exactly what to do when you guys are using this. So the resources are available to you. You certainly don't need to have us do it. We want these tools to be as DIY friendly as possible. We try to make that very clear. So get into it, get your hands dirty, tinker around. We definitely recommend that. As mentioned though, Exact Forms Plus with the new formula URL parameters, you can see that we had the prepen. I'll just pull that back up. We always had add files. When I say always, since I've been here, we've had add files. But we also now have pre-files to pre-pen the document as like a cover page, and then summary reports and dates. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the Exact Forms Plus demo. And from the Exact Forms Plus demo, I'm just going to go right to the document templates table, because really what we're going to take a look at is the subtable configurator. So I'm just going to open up the very first one. I think that there's a subtable here, right? So look at this madness. This is what the subtable configurator really does for you guys. And this is almost like with the Excel Docs configurator. So this is really saving you guys this huge headache. I would never be able to do this personally. So the EFP configurator is really helpful as well. So let's see. I hope this one is updated. It does not look like it is.
No, that's version 5.0.
Where would I go to do the most updated?
Actually, edit the record. View the subtable record itself. View the record.
Hidden.
We got to, yeah, we got to swap that. I noticed that before.
Yep. Well, that's why you're here, Keith. So
nope, that one's still pointing at 5.0 as well.
Got to update that. All right,
But
let's start from the top.
Yeah, it does show. It does show the summaries though.
This is not 5.0. This is the Exact Forms Plus subtable configurator. A lot of you guys have probably used this in the past, but now on this filter criteria page, you're going to see that we have the ability to do details table, master table, or summary table. You can see we actually can't click it because the table that we're pulling from does not, which is tasks, does not have any summary records that would work. So let me see.
But once you configure once you have a configuration, you can't change it from detail to summary to master summary. So because everything is already set up and designed for whatever it was pre-configured for. So you'd have to create a new configuration and then select it as a summary and do your summary configuration.
So let's go ahead and add a new one then. So if I want, and let's see the tasks table again, let's see if there is any summary reports. So let's say Matt's tasks. I hit next, so I can choose here. So there you go. So now I can choose from the master table or from the summary of a child. So let's say the task summary, which is convenient. And I can choose that to be my summary table that I want to use. Now, I can add additional filters to that if needed. So I can say based off of the fields that are available in that summary report, right, Keith? Because these are only the 4 fields that are available.
Yeah, and most of the time you'll probably never filter further because your filter criteria is in the report itself. So that's just if you really wanted to do some additional filtering on a case-by-case basis. So a lot of times with the summary reports, your filter's done. You just choose the summary report and you're good to go. It'll select the data that you need.
Right. And really what the hope is, and I believe this is the case, and correct me if I'm wrong, Keith, but we're almost going to have that query builder here in the filter criteria in the future. Now, it's not here yet. That's part of 2024 roadmap, which again, we'll get to early next year. But the hope is we'll have that query criteria here so you can just build it just like you're building a regular report in Quickbase. So we hope to have that here quickly for you. And again, so we're just going to pick summary, task summary. And again, the only fields that are available are the ones that are already made in that task summary report. So I can go and change kind of the width based off of what I think it's going to be. Maybe project name I know is going to be like 100. And this should all be, just refresher information for you guys. You can see that we have our order set up. We have some advanced settings still available for you. And
that's important, Matt, just to point out too. A lot of times with summary reports, you have no control over column widths. You have no control over the labels. You don't have control over what appears in the subtable row.
Right.
You have full access to our configurator, just like you were doing for detail configurations. You have those that same feature set for summaries. So you can control the width. You can override the column name. You can subtotal or total only the columns you want to. So you still can take advantage of what you know in the configurator for a detail level.
Right, absolutely. And I think that is important to point out because you wouldn't necessarily be able to do this summary action with the configurator in the past. So again, something that people have been asking for a long time. Now you're combining the best of both worlds, and it's available to you now. So I believe everyone's been updated, right, Keith?
Yep.
Yep. So if you guys were to go into your subtable configurators now, whether it's right now or in the future, this will be available to you, and you can make new subtables just like this. And again, it does not look like we have available any sorting or grouping, which I don't believe is available based off of the different subtables or summary subtables you may
Yeah,
use.
just the grand on that tab, just the grand total line you have control over, so you can specify where you want the grand total label maybe to appear inside of the total row on the
Right.
report.
For those of you who don't know, if you're going to do a grand total, let's say I wanted to do a grand total of numbers of hours allocated, I would have to, I guess I can't grand total because it's not numeric, right? It's
You got to
text.
change it to numeric first because we don't, unfortunately, the API for summary reports doesn't give us back the field types properly.
Mm,
So,
mm.
so you have to change them first and then just choose it. You want to grand total it.
Right, right. So yeah, so this is how you change the type. I showed that quickly in the Excel Docs configurator. So if you need to change the type, you can just click on it and we show all the available types for you guys. So numeric would then be a choice, and then you can hit grand total there. And if I were to go back to this other page, please note, because we get this all the time, this is display text for the grand total row. So what column do you want to display the text name, not what column are you grand totaling? So maybe we want to just have it right next to task name, and we just want it to say, maybe total hours. Get it next from there. Then you can still do all of your alignment, still do all of your borders, your column header colors. You could really put a hex code in here. A lot of people like to use their exact color based off of their website and everything like that. So you can, of course, get into that. Or if you prefer, you can just click around with this bubble and go to wherever looks nice for you. It's kind of a ugly turquoise color. Sorry if that's any of your guys' color. And then, of course, header alignments, row shading, all available still for you. And that's how you can make that new subtable for that tasks. So that's what's been new to Exact Forms Plus and Exact Forms Plus Subtable Configurator. The dates, as mentioned, Keith, I'm not sure where that would be best to show that, but it's really just dynamic now to your own time zone. So for any of you guys who may be watching this in the future, if you had issues with dates in the past, please go ahead and try now, and it should work as expected. But if it's not, and you're still having issues with dates, please let us know.
Yeah, the main thing there was we now store the date format for your application in our system, so we know the format that you'd like to use. So that's one thing. And the other thing is when you're in a different time zone, and maybe you're using day, month, year instead of month, day, year, we save the Exact Forms Plus creation date in the proper structure of the date. So that was it's mostly our international customers that are having some issues with that.
Right. Agreed. Okay, perfect. So with that said, just buzz back to this. We're now going to quickly go over the query builder. And then after the query builder is done, we're going to show you guys a full intro to the new Juice Cloud. And I'm going to hand it off to Justin for newjuicetech.com. And honestly, I think you're going to be really impressed. I certainly am. So let's go ahead and check out that query builder. So I'm going to pull up this query builder over here. And oh, it's that same turquoise blue, and so we have this demo here. I don't believe this is available to everyone, but we can take a look at this here. And let's say, let's take a look at this record here. So if I wanted to use Query Builder and I wanted to have on one of my apps, let us know. If you want to use Query Builder, just send us an email and say, I would like to use Query Builder on X application in Y table, and we'll help you guys get that set up as soon as possible. But you'll have a button just like you would for any other add-on. And you're going to go ahead and click that, and you're going to see the Juice Query Builder come up. So now we're saying, okay, I want to pull from the employees table, and I want to know that the full name does not contain Dylan. So this may be a pretty simple query for most of you guys, and you can see that this is the query here at the bottom. If you guys wanted to put it in formula query mode, you guys can change the formatting just a bit. Or if you guys want to go back to the URL, you guys can change that around based off of what you guys need. There's just very slight differences in some use cases. And if you guys need to, you guys can click to copy that right here, or you could even save the query to the record. Now, the purpose, or really the benefit of saving that query is, especially with pipelines or any of the other tools that Quickbase offers, you may have to do things more than once. And to write down maybe some of these more complex queries several times over again can be tedious. And also just to know how to build them is a pain in themselves. So if you don't have necessarily a development background or you're not a Quickbase expert, this may be something that you've never tried just because you didn't know or you weren't comfortable with it. And I really recommend giving it a try now. Because look at this report that we were able to make from this. So if I were to click, Dylan was nice enough to leave a link here where we can go ahead and see what that report would be based off of this query. So when I click this, I can see when the full name does not contain Dylan, and I can see everyone's records here, which is these are the team besides Dylan. And you can see anyone who's spent hours and their name is not Dylan. Now, if I wanted to see this one is not equal to blank, let's see if I can make a new query instead. Let's make something crazy. And Dylan's probably cringing that I'm saying this right now. So let's do the employees table. And okay, querying from the employees table and the blank parent table. Let's just go with employee full name, I think was one of them. Let's just do full name. Does not contain, let's do Matthew. And let's say, I believe from the employees table, let's say total time spent is not equal to blank. So that looks good. Now, if I hit save query, it might not work. Now, Dylan, if I'm doing something wrong, please let me know. I believe I am. Text query here. Dylan, I think you are on call. If you're not, then that's on me. But I believe that I did that right. Copy to clipboard. Now let's see. Maybe it's because I didn't save the record. That's probably why. Let's try that again. So from the employees table, and let's do full name. Does not contain value blank. Now I really thought that would kick that off. Now, Shally, if you're next to Dylan, maybe you tell him to come back on because he was here. But am I doing that incorrect? And Keith, I'm not sure if you would know. Maybe the only other person in here that would know is Shally. So Shally, would you know if that's correct? Tell him that he shouldn't have left the call because he said he was going to be on for it. But
Yeah, he's dealing with something else right now.
right. Well, if you go into the historical queries and we go back to where we were with Dylan, now I'm not quite sure why that didn't update, but you can see here. Let's see if I added another value here. So I wanted to put in that same value. So total time spent is not equal to blank. I believe that should have added that to the query. Not sure why that's not doing that. That could be on us because we have this in our demo. You can see here. So the demo is actively being worked on at all times. So I believe Dylan may have been making changes for this in the meantime this past week. But with the query builder, that would essentially have added also this criteria. Total time spent is not equal to the value blank. So we'll take a look at that in just a bit. But the point of using the query builder is to be able to make those complex queries on the fly without having to necessarily know exactly what the Quickbase query syntax is. So we're really excited to have that in, and especially have that in to the different tools, as I was mentioning here. The Excel Docs Configurator utilizes that, as well as Exact Forms Plus is going to be utilizing that. And then, of course, we have our other add-ons. Any add-on that uses a query, whether it be Easy File Importer, QB Maps, or different query criteria for QB Courier, all of that can use Query Builder. So if you guys are ever looking for an easier way to do queries, whether it's for pipelines or our tools, that's going to be a tool for you guys. And if you want to check that out more, we can roll that out going forward. So I will keep that in mind. And then for the new look Juice Cloud, I kind of gave you guys a little bit of a preview to that before. So I'm going to open that back up in a second. Let me go ahead and get that Juice Cloud back up. And the best way to go to it is usually through our website, but I want to give Justin an opportunity to show the website, so I'm not going to spoil that. So I'm just going to go to cloud.juicetech.com. And for those of you who have been with us for a long time, this may have been a surprise to you when you saw this. You can see we have a banner here on the left where we're showing version 3.0, and version 3.0 will allow you then to book a call or learn more. And of course, then you have the ability to go ahead and log in just like you normally would. And you can see there's just a little bit of different color schemes there. And if I were to go in just to my page here and we check out all of these add-ons. Now let's see an add-on that we don't necessarily have access to here. You can see we have many different links, whether it's a link to the demo app, request a quote, documentation, schedule a call, or start trial can now be found in the far right. And then when it comes to within an add-on that's already active, you should see really no change. But you also can see these resources on the right. The resources has the cloud overview for those of you who are in there for the first time. Master demo application link, which is what I've been using here. That's been really a telltale, sign. This is a great way to just bounce right into whatever you need. And then this is a link to office hours for sessions like this, whether you want to sign up for the next one to get questions answered, or if you just want to review old videos as well. Besides that, there's also from your account settings where you can see user profile, billing details, and client contacts there. If you ever believe that there should be additional contacts in your client contacts, please feel free to add it, and would be more than happy to be able to add them to our list so that they get updated on maybe potential errors or anything that may or may not be needed on your guys' end. But that's the new look Juice Cloud. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes as well that we don't necessarily need to mention. But if you're not on the Juice Cloud and you're watching this in the future, or you're watching it right now and you're not in the Juice Cloud, let us know. It's important for everyone to be in here. This is your add-on homepage for everything Juiced related. But without further ado, I think that the best thing now is to go ahead and show the new look JuicedTech.com. Again, for those of you who have been with us for a long time, you may see this as, something brand new. But I'm going to hand it off to Justin. And I'm going to let Justin go ahead and maybe show his screen so he can show the Juice Cloud, or I'm sorry, JuicedTech.com.
I'm going for it. Give me one moment. Let's see. Can you see that? Are we looking at the website here?
Yep. Beautiful.
Okay, cool. So really the big thing for the people on the meeting, one of the big goals for us with the website right now, just from the menu standpoint, was just to make things easier to find. I think that's the most useful part of it for the sake of the people on the call. Matt, I so often hear you on calls and people sometimes being surprised that we have a product that does X, Y, or Z. So if you ever have the question, can JuicedTech do this? Products is right there, and every category of things that we can do is right here for people to see. The resources section is everything that people would need, hopefully, to find success with us, from the blog, the video library. Again, I think the blog we're really going to be hitting heavy on going into the new year. That's one of my initiatives. And the master demo application, which Matt was showing before. We are working on, I'm not sure if this was for the 2024 roadmap, but we are working. I'll give everyone a sneak preview. We're working on making sure that those are really easy to use. We think those can be an awesome asset for people who are trying to, see how things can be used in their workflow without actually having to go through the process of installing it into their application. Status page, not sure if many people know about that, but if you're ever dealing with a problem with your add-ons, you can go to that status page. That's updated every single day. It's possible that there's just a backup on our end, but I'm kind of speaking a little out of my lane by talking about the status page.
You're right on, Justin.
Cool. And the about page, the most important part for anyone, maybe you're bored on lunch and want to read about the team at JuicedTech over a sandwich. That is everyone, a little bio about them, a lovely picture. There's Matt right there.
You can tell I'm really happy there.
Yeah, Matt is one of the only people that was happy to get their picture taken and put on the website here. But yeah, I mean, this is really this is really most of it. We just wanted to make it look better, more personalized, and again, really make it easier for people to navigate to get to where they have to be. Those were the big goals. So,
and again, for pricing questions, contacting us, sign into the Juice Cloud, those types of things were there. We frequently would get questions, what's the best way to get to the Juice Cloud? For you guys, just go to JuicedTech.com or just pin it to your screen. You can see Justin's actually got a pin to his screen on the top left there. So that's one way to just make sure you have the right link. And of course, just having the about section is nice, Justin. So that's a nice touch. And the resources is really important for you guys to know that that's where you can find it, especially going to the help site. We would frequently get asked, how do I get to the help site? We had a long menu bar before. Now we've kind of condensed it while still adding more value. So I believe that's just about everything besides, and Justin, maybe since you got the screen, maybe you can go to quickbase.com. One of the very last things that I want to note, and I did already look.
they sausage fingered that.
That was a quick trigger finger there. They did not update this, but if you go under the support menu tile and then partners, although it's not showing here, we did get confirmation that JuicedTech is now a premier partner. We were registered before. Really exciting for us, based off of our performance this year. There's different criteria than it was in the past. It used to be based off of different KPIs, but we've been working to kind of diligently mold and adapt and be malleable to what Quickbase wants us to be. So we're really excited that that's there, and of course, we will continue to do our best to change and grow with the times so that Quickbase likes us, right?
Yeah,
Quickbase.
well, one of the reasons why we're not one of the higher level partners is we're different from a lot of the other partners is because they sell Quickbase or resell Quickbase. And that's their goal is to get more Quickbase customers on Quickbase who might not be on Quickbase, or to get existing customers to expand. Our role as a partner is really to get people to use Quickbase more by using our add-ons and taking advantage of everything that we have to offer to make your experience in Quickbase better. So that's why, when you look at the partner tiers, we don't kind of fall into the same category as the existing partners. So, but we're trying to, because we'd like to obviously climb up the ladder there.
Got to be malleable.
But yeah, so we had to change a little bit of what we're doing just to try to see if we can get up in the tiers there. But
Right. So I just want to end off our 2023 year in review on just another positive note. I want to thank all of you guys, especially those of you who come to office hours almost every week. It's awesome to spend an hour with you guys every week and answer your questions and work with you guys. So I really appreciate that. We really appreciate your time and your business and choosing to work with Juiced. I truly believe that you guys are in the best place possible to get help with Quickbase, to get add-ons. And if you guys ever have feature wants, questions, comments, concerns, or just want to come and ask us Quickbase questions, we're more than happy to be there for you. So thank you guys. We hope that everyone has a very happy holiday season. And we look forward to hitting the ground hard for 2024 and continuing to improve all of the add-ons that we have available.